The world is full of mysteries, and some of them go beyond our understanding. Cases that are unsolved with little to no explanation, that remain shrouded in obscurity. Two such cases, separated by almost 2 decades, share the same eerie, unexplained disappearance. The cases of Paula Jean Weldon and Suzanne Joven are among the most baffling in the annals of crime. What happened to them and why? Join us as we delve into the mystifying circumstances surrounding their disappearances and see if we can finally unlock the secrets of these unsolved mysteries. We'll begin with Suzanne Joven. On a cold December night in 1988, a Yale senior with a promising future ahead of her was brutally murdered on the streets of New Haven, Connecticut. With a long list of suspects and no clear motive, the case of Suzanne Joven remains shrouded in mystery, leaving many to wonder who wanted her dead and why. Suzanne Joven was a senior at Yale University in the late 90s, with a promising future ahead of her. She was deeply involved in the Yale community, volunteering as a tutor, lending her angelic voice to the freshman chorus and the Batch Society Orchestra, co-founding the German Club and working in the Davenport Dining Hall for 3 years. Her dedication to her studies and extracurricular activities was matched only by her brilliance, making her a standout among her peers. As the sun began to set on that fateful December evening, Suzanne Joven made her way back to her apartment, tired but content from a day of working on her senior essay and organizing a pizza-making party for the local Best Buddies chapter. It was just another Friday night, or so it seemed. Little did she know that this night would be her last, and that her name would soon be etched into the annals of one of Yale's most mysterious unsolved murder cases. As she walked along the quiet streets of New Haven, Connecticut, Suzanne's mind must have been occupied with thoughts of schoolwork and plans for the weekend. But somewhere along the way, her path crossed with that of someone who had very different intentions. Despite her friend's invitation to go to the movies, Suzanne decided to stay and work on her studies. And yet, at some point, she made plans to meet with an unnamed individual who had borrowed some GRE books from her. Who was this person and what was the nature of their meeting? To this day, no one knows. As she walked towards the Yale Police Communications Center to return the car keys, she encountered a fellow classmate, Peter Stein. He described her as looking tired and holding a few sheets of white paper in her hand. But what happened after their brief exchange is anyone's guess. Did Suzanne ever make it to the police center to return the keys, or did she head in a different direction? Witnesses reported seeing her walking north on College Street around 9:30 p.m., but it's unclear where she was headed or what she was doing. Did she have a rendezvous with her mysterious borrower, or was she simply enjoying the festive holiday lights along the New Haven Green? What we do know is that at 9:55 p.m., a passerby called 911 to report a woman bleeding on the corner of Edge Hill Road and East Rock Road, nearly 2 miles from Yale's campus. By the time police arrived, it was too late. Suzanne Joven had been fatally stabbed 17 times in the back of her head and neck, and her throat had been slit. Her body lay on the grassy area between the road and the sidewalk, fully clothed and still wearing her watch and earrings. A crumpled dollar bill was found in her pocket, but her wallet was later discovered in her room. It was as if someone had attacked her and then fled into the night, leaving no trace behind. Despite numerous items and observations reported as possible evidence, much of it has been discredited, deemed unreliable, or explained away. However, there are a few notable pieces of physical evidence, including DNA found under Joven's fingernails, fingerprints on a Fresca bottle found near her body, and the tip of the knife used in the attack lodged in her skull. Even more intriguing are the observations that have come to light, such as a mysterious town or brown van spotted in the area at the time of the murder. A man with an athletic build seen running in the opposite direction, and a nondescript someone, whom Jovin mentioned in an email she sent just before she was found stabbed. Despite these tantalizing clues, the case remains unsolved. The speculation about the murder weapon continues. It's been suggested that the knife used in the attack was a 4 to 5 inch non-serrated carbon steel blade, but no precise make or model has ever been identified. It's also unclear whether Jovin entered a vehicle voluntarily or was taken against her will, as it's virtually impossible for her to have traveled to the location where she was found bleeding by foot in the short span of time that elapsed between her last sighting and her death. As for the individuals and vehicles that may have been involved in the crime, the New Haven Police Department has been notoriously tight-lipped. The very existence of the van was not revealed until 2 years after the murder, and while the brown van was impounded by the police, no link to the crime has ever been confirmed. The palm print found on the Fresca bottle remains unidentified, and the DNA evidence found under Jovin's fingernails was only tested years later. With so many unanswered questions and mysterious details, the case of Suzanne Joven continues to haunt investigators and the public alike as they search for the truth behind her tragic death. For over 2 decades, the case of Suzanne Joven has remained unsolved. Despite numerous investigations and countless interviews, no one has ever been able to determine who was responsible for this heinous crime. Was it a random act of violence, or was Suzanne specifically targeted? Was it the work of a stranger or someone she knew? These are questions that may never be answered, and the mystery surrounding her death has only deepened with the passing of time. Perhaps one day, someone will come forward with new information that will finally shed some light on what happened to Suzanne Joven on that cold December night. Until then, her memory remains a haunting reminder of the fragility of life and the darkness that can lurk just beyond the light of the holiday season. And now we'll move on to Paula Jean Weldon. In the misty woods of Vermont's Long Trail, a young woman vanishes without a trace, leaving behind only unanswered questions and a mystery that haunts the hills to this day. The disappearance of Paula Jean Weldon not only marked the end of a promising life, but it also revealed the dark truth lurking beneath the surface of the tranquil town, one that the authorities were determined to keep hidden. As the secrets of the wilderness begin to unravel, the fate of the missing girl remains shrouded in mystery, beckoning for someone to finally uncover the truth. Paula Jean Weldon, the enigmatic eldest daughter of the famed industrial engineer, architect, and designer William Archibald Weldon, had an inexplicable allure that seemed to follow her wherever she went. In 1946, she was already a sophomore at the prestigious Bennington College in North Bennington, Vermont. Her abode for the semester was the ancient Dewey House, one of the oldest dormitories still standing on the hallowed grounds of the college. The whispers around campus spoke of Weldon's peculiar penchant for wandering off into the woods alone and without warning. One fateful day, Weldon resolved to explore a portion of the Long Trail, a hiking route situated a few miles from campus, shrouded in a dense, eerie fog that concealed it from the rest of the world. Despite her efforts to invite some of her fellow students to join her, she was met with indifference, and so she embarked on her solitary trek into the enigmatic wilderness, undeterred by the potential perils lurking in the unknown. As the sun began to set on that cold December afternoon, Paula Jean Weldon set out to walk a portion of Vermont's Long Trail, a popular hiking route located a few miles from her college campus. Weldon's college dormitory was located in Dewey House, which is one of the older dormitories on the grounds of Bennington College. As she made her way down the trail, Weldon tried to get some other students to join her, but they were all busy with other things. Undeterred, she ventured onto the trail by herself. She was never seen again. Weldon's roommate assumed that she had gone to the library to study for her exams, but the following morning Weldon had not yet come back. As soon as the administrators of Bennington College were informed about Weldon's disappearance, they initiated a search of the campus grounds. The authorities were notified about Weldon's disappearance, and the Bennington County State's Attorney and the county sheriff were brought in to assist in the search. In the following days, it was discovered that Weldon had visited the Long Trail, a popular hiking destination, after one of the hikers she had approached recognized her from a photo in the local newspaper, where he was employed. The search for Weldon continued for several weeks, with the closure of Bennington College for several days to allow students and faculty to participate in organized search efforts. Despite extensive efforts involving hundreds of volunteers, family members, National Guard troops, and firefighters, no one was able to locate Weldon. The search efforts for Weldon focused on the Long Trail and its various branches, as well as along Route 9 from Bennington to Brattleboro. Both ground and air searches were conducted, with particular attention paid to the section of the Long Trail that extends up to Glastonbury Mountain, located roughly 10 miles to the north. The aim of these searches was likely to locate any clues or evidence that could lead to Weldon's whereabouts, or shed light on the circumstances of her disappearance. Initially, the assumption of those involved in the search was that Weldon had gotten lost in the woods, given the location of the Long Trail where she was last seen. However, when no evidence or leads were found to indicate her location, other theories about her disappearance began to emerge. There were alternative theories and speculations about Weldon's disappearance. One theory was that Weldon, who was reportedly in high spirits prior to her disappearance, had chosen to run away and start a new life elsewhere. Another theory suggested that she may have gone to meet a secret lover, which could potentially explain why she had not returned home, or had become injured and suffered from amnesia. Some speculated that Weldon may have been suffering from depression and may have taken her own life, while others suggested that she may have been kidnapped or even murdered. According to investigators, Paula Weldon was last seen alive by a man named Fred Cadet. who was known to live near the area where Weldon disappeared. Cadet was in a heated argument with his girlfriend when Weldon passed by. Shortly after their encounter, Cadet stormed off, either spending the evening alone in his shack or driving up the same trail that Weldon was heading towards. Cadet was known to have lied to police on multiple occasions and was considered a person of interest in both the 1946 investigation and the case's reopening in 1952. It was reported that Cadet had confided in at least 2 people, claiming that he knew where Weldon was buried within 100 feet. However, he later dismissed these statements as a mere idle talk. Despite suspicions surrounding Cadet's possible involvement, no evidence of a crime was found. No body was discovered, and no forensic clues were identified, leading investigators to a dead end in their investigation. As we conclude our journey into the mysteries surrounding the disappearances of Paula Jean Weldon and Suzanne Joven, we are left with more questions than answers. These 2 cases, separated by several decades, share many similarities, but neither has been solved to this day. The disappearances of Paula and Suzanne have haunted their families, the authorities, and the community for years. And despite extensive searches and investigations, both cases remain shrouded in mystery. The theories surrounding their disappearances are many and varied, ranging from abduction to suicide and from running away to murder. Perhaps one day, new evidence will come to light, and the truth behind these 2 cases will finally be revealed. Until then, the families of Paula and Suzanne, as well as the communities that have been impacted by their disappearances, continue to hold out hope that one day they will find answers and closure. As we reflect on these cases, we are reminded of the fragility of life and the importance of cherishing every moment. Let us remember Paula Jean Weldon and Suzanne Joven and honor their memory by never forgetting them, and always striving to uncover the truth behind their disappearances.